Hi, I'm Kate from dailytarotgirl.com, and in this video I'm going to talk about the difference between a tarot deck and an oracle card deck. So this is a question I get asked all the time. What is the difference between tarot and oracle cards? And there's really only one key difference, and that is that a tarot deck follows a specific structure. There's a specific set of rules that a tarot deck must follow, whereas an oracle card deck follows no rules. So a tarot deck has 78 cards, and an oracle card deck can have as many cards as it wants. I find that most oracle decks have less cards than a tarot deck, but it really just depends on the oracle card deck. So a tarot deck will have 78 cards, and it will have a major arcana, which it has 21 major arcana cards, so from the Fool right through to card 21, which is the World. So the Fool is 0, Magician is card number 1, there's the High Priestess, etc., etc. And then the minor arcana, there is 56 minor arcana cards in a tarot deck, and the minor arcana are divided into 4 suits. So there's the suit of Pentacles, the suit of Swords, Cups, and Wands. And each suit has cards numbered 1 through 10, and then 4 court cards, so a King, Queen, Knight, and a Page. So that is the formula that a tarot deck follows, and all tarot decks, no matter if they're a themed tarot deck or if they're like a tarot deck that's like way out there and totally different, no matter what kind of a tarot deck it is, it's going to follow that structure. Now, there is variations within tarot decks, so I'm going to give you an example of this. So this is the Animal Wisdom Tarot. It's an animal themed tarot deck, and many of the major arcana cards have been renamed. I think all the suits have been renamed, some of the court cards are renamed, but that doesn't change the meaning of those cards, and it still follows the tarot structure. It's just given kind of creative names to some of the things. So the suit of Swords is renamed the suit of Feathers, and the suit of Wands is called the suit of Branches. Whoops. Instead of Cups, it's Shells, and etc., etc. And some of the major arcana cards, like I believe this is Earth Father. This is, I think, I'm going to say the Emperor, I think, and Bearer of Justice, that is Justice. So some of the cards have been renamed, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't follow that tarot structure, and those cards still have, like, their meaning doesn't change just because they've been renamed. Now, an oracle card deck, I'm going to show you an oracle card deck. This is the Goddess Guidance cards by Doreen Virtue. Doreen Virtue has a lot of oracle card decks, and her decks are pretty typical. So most oracle decks are kind of like this, in that there's an image on the card and then the card meaning, or like a little message or saying right below. A lot of oracle decks have that, and this makes oracle cards really easy for beginners to use, because there's no, they don't have to learn how to read cards. It's got the meaning right there. So it's very beginner friendly. Whereas a tarot deck, the meanings aren't written on the cards, and you have to kind of know a bit about reading tarot before you pick up a deck and start reading it. Whereas most oracle decks, even if you didn't know anything about reading, you could work with an oracle card deck. So one easy way to remember this analogy, I like to think of the difference between tarot and oracle decks as being really similar to a Harlequin romance novel and just a novel. So I don't know if you've read many Harlequin romance novels, but I have. And they all follow a really specific formula. They have, like, the plots are all pretty much very similar. They follow a specific structure. So the hero and the heroine, the two people that fall in love, they always meet in the first chapter, sparks fly, and then usually halfway through the novel or towards the end, something bad happens, they break up or something like that. And then they kind of reconcile and get back together for the ending, which is always a happy ending. And then there's other rules and stuff with the Harlequin romance novels. Like, I know when I was reading them, which was a while ago, the main female character, the heroine, was always a virgin, and she was always really young. So she was always a young virgin, and the heroes were always, they were never virgins, ever, for some reason. And they were, you know, worldly men with lots of money and lots of experience. And I know that that's changed now. I don't think the main female characters in a lot of the Harlequins are virgins anymore. But I think the men are still always, like, disgustingly rich. So that's a Harlequin. So it has like a specific formula, and you know what you're getting when you pick up a Harlequin romance novel. Compare that to just a novel that someone has written on their own and self-published. It probably doesn't have like a cookie cutter storyline. You know, it's whatever that author has decided to write about. And it's probably not going to be as predictable as a Harlequin romance novel. You don't really know what you're going to get with that one. So that is kind of like what an oracle deck is like. So with an oracle deck, it could be anything. It could be whatever the oracle deck creator has decided to do with their oracle deck. So it could be any kinds of images, any number of cards. There's no real rules to what an oracle deck has to entail, or what an oracle deck has to include. One big difference between oracle decks and tarot decks that I've noticed is that it seems like a lot of oracle decks are very uplifting, very positive, very gentle. Not all of them, but most of them are. And I feel like this is because the oracle decks kind of have more mass appeal. I think they appeal to more of a general population as opposed to tarot, which is only going to appeal to people that know how to read tarot or want to learn how to read tarot. So I find that in general, a lot of my oracle decks that I have are kind of feel-good decks that are really positive and uplifting, whereas the tarot, most of my tarot decks, they have a wide array of cards on them. So there's cards that are uplifting and positive, there's cards that are terrifying and kind of negative. So there's kind of a whole mix of different cards, whereas most oracle decks, it's like a lot of, you know, good vibes. Yeah, as you know, in general. So that's another big difference that I've noticed. But essentially the main difference is just that tarot follows a specific formula, specific structure, whereas oracle decks do not. So I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and leave me a comment and let me know, what is your favorite? Do you prefer tarot decks over oracle decks, or are you more drawn to oracle card decks, and why? So thank you for watching, thank you for your comment, and check out my website, dailytarotgirl.com. I've got all kinds of fun stuff on there, so if you're interested in learning about reading cards, I've got lots of fun exercises, tutorial videos, deck reviews, tarot blog, and more. Thanks for watching.